The morning sun was barely cresting over the rolling hills of Willow Creek, Montana, when I found the letter taped to my front door. It was a crisp September day in 2024, and the notice from the Willow Heights Homeowners Association demanded $3,000 for a fence I'd built around my family's 40-acre ranch. I chuckled at the audacity until I overheard HOA President Cassandra Blake tell my 13-year-old daughter, Lily, that the stench of our sheep would ruin the neighborhood's charm. My amusement vanished. I'm Nathan Caldwell, a fourth-generation rancher on this land, and Cassandra had just crossed a line she'd soon regret. Let me tell you how this saga unfolded, and I want to hear what you'd do in my shoes. It all kicked off that Tuesday when I was hammering in cedar posts for a new fence around the 5 acres nearest our house. Lily had been pleading for months to get some sheep, something to care for after we lost my wife, Emily, in a tragic hiking accident 3 years prior. I could still see Emily's silhouette against these hills, her laughter echoing as we walked hand in hand under starlit skies. This land, worked by my great-grandfather's hands, wasn't just dirt, it was our legacy. I was setting the final post when I heard the sharp clack of heels on the gravel drive. Turning, I saw a woman in her early 30s striding toward me, her gaze scanning my property like a hawk. She wore a tailored blazer over a silk blouse, her auburn hair immaculate despite the morning breeze, and her jewelry gleamed with calculated elegance. "Excuse me," she called, clutching a tablet like a weapon. "I'm Cassandra Blake, president of the Willow Heights HOA. We need to address your fence immediately." I set down my tools and approached. "Ma'am, I'm Nathan Caldwell," I said, keeping my tone steady, as my father taught me to handle even the prickliest neighbors. Cassandra tapped her tablet with manicured nails. "Mr. Caldwell, all structures impacting our community's aesthetic must meet HOA standards. This pastoral fence doesn't comply." She spat pastoral like it was a curse. I leaned on a post. "This ranch was here before your subdivision was a blueprint, Mrs. Blake." For a split second, her polished facade cracked, revealing a flicker of unease before she snapped. "The HOA has authority to protect property values. You'll hear from us soon." As she turned to leave, Lily darted from the house toward the school bus stop. Cassandra froze, her eyes softening as they followed my daughter, her hand drifting to her stomach in a fleeting, unguarded moment. But when Lily passed close enough for the faint scent of our livestock to reach her, Cassandra's warmth vanished. "Sweetie," she said to Lily, her voice syrupy with venom, "doesn't that animal smell bother you? It's going to make this neighborhood unlivable." Lily's face crumpled, confusion and hurt in her eyes as she glanced at me. That moment seeing my daughter wounded by a stranger's cruelty lit a fire in me. I stepped between them. "Mrs. Blake, we're done here." My voice was low, a warning. She clutched her tablet and retreated, but I knew this was only the beginning. 3 days later, a formal violation notice appeared on my door, citing the $3,000 fine and a chilling threat. Continued noncompliance may lead to property seizure. I laughed, not out of humor but defiance. Cassandra had clearly spent hours crafting this, probably hunched over her sleek desk, scouring legal websites for the most menacing phrases. The letter had screamed money, every word designed to intimidate. That night, I dug through my grandfather's old filing cabinet, unearthing the 1958 deed to our land. It proved our ranch predated Willow Heights by decades, rendering the HOA's claims toothless. I drafted a response, attached copies of the deed, and drove to Cassandra's pristine mansion the next morning. Her lawn was a work of art, every hedge clipped to perfection. She answered the door in designer athleisure, her hair flawless at 7 a.m. "Mr. Caldwell," she purred, her smile a mask. I handed her the envelope. "You might want to read this before you push further. My land's outside your jurisdiction, and your threats could land you in legal trouble." She barely glanced at the papers, shoving them back. "You don't understand how things work here. My husband, Derek, has influence across this county." Her smugness told me she'd steamrolled others before. Within days, her campaign intensified. County inspectors started showing up, health officials, building code officers all leaving empty-handed, muttering about wasted time. I documented every visit, sensing Cassandra's desperation. Then came the gut punch. I got home one evening to find Lily in tears. "Dad, Mrs. Blake called my school," she sobbed. "She said our animals make our house unsafe, and they questioned me about whether I feel okay living here." My blood boiled. No one drags my daughter into their vendetta. I called my neighbor, Margaret Walsh, a 25-year resident next to our ranch. She whispered, "Cassandra's been canvassing the neighborhood, pushing a petition to claim your sheep tank property values. Most folks aren't buying it, but she's got some new residents on board." The HOA board's scared of her, Nathan. The next blow landed when a county notice arrived, announcing a petition to rezone my land from agricultural to residential only. If approved, I'd lose the tax exemption that kept our ranch viable. It hit me, this wasn't about fences or smells. Cassandra and Derek, a property developer, wanted my land, likely to flip it for profit. I sat in my truck, staring at the fields my family had tended for generations, anger hardening into resolve. If Cassandra thought she could bully me off my legacy, she was about to meet her match. I took a day off from my irrigation business to dig into Derek's company. Public records revealed a pattern. They'd targeted family farms in 2 other counties, using rezoning petitions to force sales at rock-bottom prices. Armed with this, I prepared for the zoning hearing like a general for battle. I gathered records proving our land's agricultural use since the 1940s, studied zoning laws, and rallied local farmers who'd faced similar fights. The hearing, held in the county courthouse, was electric. Cassandra arrived with a high-priced legal team from Billings, led by a steely attorney in a tailored suit. Derek lounged in the front row, scrolling his phone, unfazed. Cassandra's team argued that livestock threatened public health and property values, flashing slick charts. But when she took the mic, her composure frayed. "Mr. Caldwell's stubbornness threatens our community's future," she snapped, her voice shrill. I stood, facing neighbors I'd known for decades. "My great-grandfather bought this land in 1955. We've paid taxes, supported this town, and never bothered anyone. This isn't about zoning, it's about a developer trying to erase family farms for profit." I locked eyes with Derek. His company's done this before, forcing farmers out in 2 other counties. The room buzzed. Cassandra leapt up, shouting, "That's slander. We're building a better community." Her outburst drew uneasy glances. The commissioners delayed their decision, buying me 30 days. I didn't wait. Digging through old survey maps, I found a 1959 easement granting livestock passage through what was now Willow Heights, still legally binding. I called Sarah Ellison, an agricultural lawyer with a knack for outsmarting developers. Her eyes lit up at the easement. "Nathan, this is gold. We can protect your ranch and maybe expand agricultural zoning." While Sarah strategized, I rallied 5 local ranchers to loan me 40 sheep for a heritage grazing project. We'd show the county our land's agricultural roots couldn't be erased. Lily was thrilled, but nervous. "What if Mrs. Blake gets madder when the sheep arrive?" she asked. I hugged her. "Sometimes, kiddo, doing what's right means standing firm, no matter how loud they yell." The sheep arrived on a chilly October morning, grazing peacefully near Willow Heights' manicured lawns. I set up a lawn chair by the fence, waiting. Cassandra's black SUV screeched up within hours. "This is outrageous," she shrieked, gesturing at the flock. "You need permits." I stayed calm. "All permits are in order, Mrs. Blake. This is legal agricultural use." She called the sheriff, but Sheriff Dan Harper, a family friend, reviewed my documents and shrugged. "Nothing illegal here, Cassandra." Her face purpled as she stormed off. By noon, Willow Heights residents were gawking some snapping photos, kids wide-eyed. Lily led impromptu tours, charming the children. Cassandra, meanwhile, doubled down, calling an emergency HOA meeting titled "Livestock Invasion Threatens Our Future." I attended, blending into the crowd in her converted garage. Her PowerPoint was a fever dream of exaggerated dangers, disease, noise, plummeting home values. But when a retiree, Mr. Larson, said, "Those sheep looked fine to me," and Margaret Walsh called her out for misrepresenting my ranch, Cassandra's support crumbled. Her motion to demand the sheep's removal failed 14-7. The final zoning hearing was a showdown. The courthouse overflowed with ranchers from across Montana, sensing a precedent. Cassandra's lawyers argued urban progress trumped old easements, but when she spoke, her desperation boiled over. "I've sacrificed everything for this community," she screamed. "Nathan Caldwell's sheep are a deliberate attack on our way of life." Her attorney cringed. I rose, voice steady. "My family's worked this land since 1955. Cassandra's husband has a history of bullying farmers into selling cheap. This is greed, plain and simple." I presented the easement and Derek's track record. The room erupted. Cassandra's shout, "Lies," was drowned by murmurs. The commissioners voted 5-0 to uphold agricultural zoning in the easement. Cheers echoed as Cassandra sat, defeated. The fallout was swift. Cassandra was ousted as HOA president, replaced by Margaret. The state investigated Derek's company, uncovering 3 more coerced farm sales. Lawsuits piled up, and Derek filed for divorce, leaving Cassandra to face the wreckage. By winter, her mansion was for sale, and she moved to a modest apartment, working at a nursery. My ranch earned historical landmark status, boosting local property values. Lily led Willow Creek Heritage Tours, guiding families through our pastures. Ironically, Cassandra's crusade made Willow Heights more valuable, as buyers flocked to live near authentic Montana heritage. One spring day, fixing a fence with Lily, I spotted Cassandra across the road, hauling compost bags. Our eyes met. She gave a hesitant wave. I nodded back. Later, Lily asked, "Dad, do you think she's sorry?" I sighed. "I hope so, but change starts with owning your mistakes." As we watched the sunset, sheep bleating softly, I felt peace. Cassandra had tried to break us, but she'd only made us stronger. What would you have done in my place? Fought like I did, or tried to compromise? Should Cassandra get a second chance, or did she get what she deserved? Drop your thoughts below, tell me where you're from, and hit that like button if this story fired you up. Subscribe for more tales of grit and heart.